So welcome back to this lesson. Today we are going to look at how to use data validation. So we have sample data that you can see on this Excel sheet, and the data validation we are going to see how you can control how data is entered into a cell. So we look at here, we want to control which type of whole numbers that can be entered into a particular cell. So what we can do is that we want to apply the rule to this particular cell. So I've highlighted it. I go to the data type, then go to validation, click on the validation. Then here, the validation, we have three types that will be working. We have settings, input, and error alert. We are working with the settings first. So here, what validation criteria do you want to add to this particular cell? We want to add whole numbers. Then once we choose that, it asks additional data. How do you want to control the whole numbers? So the drop down menu gives you a list. They want to maintain the between. So I want to enter numbers between 1 and 10. So I want the system to pick whole numbers between 1 and 10. So I click on OK. So once I click on OK, I need to test the validation. So I press to enter and it accepts it because 2 falls within 1 and 10. So when I type 10, press enter, it keeps it because within range. What if I type a number that is bigger? So let me type a number like 11. Once I press enter, it gives me an error message, means that whatever I've entered is not valid. Are you okay? So that is for all numbers. Let's see for text length. So the same method, highlight where I want to put the validation, go to the data tab, go to data validation. Then here, what do I want to allow? What criteria? I want to set text length. So the text length is just the length of text that can go into that particular cell. So I want to accept text that's within 1 and say 5. So once it's more than 5, it will give me an error. So let me type something. Maybe hello. Hello is accepted because hello is for letter or let characters. So if I type say hello, well, press enter, I get an error because hello world is more or exceed the validation that was written. In the same sense, you can apply it on dates. So here, I want to apply to this section. Highlight, go to validation, then choose dates because I want to use dates. And I can set the dates between, let's say, 1st January 2019 to maybe 31st December 2024. So assuming I want to accept dates between this range. So what happens that when I set the date above the required range to throw an error. So let me see, let me write today's date 15 October 2025. It throws an error because it exceeds the range. Okay, so let me retry again. Let me type maybe 14 February 2024. It accepts it because it falls within the range. In the same vein, we can use drop down in our validation. Drop down list. So here, let me create the drop down list. Go to data validation. Then here, what criteria am I allowed? I'm creating a list. So here I can enter the list from the source. So let's say I'm putting names of countries, so Ghana, then maybe Togo, maybe Nigeria, maybe Niger, etc. So I'll just click on create and set the list. So you realize that once you click on the cell that has a drop down, you see this drop down button showing like this. Once I click on it, it shows me the list that I've created. So once I choose Ghana, will be put in the list. So I'm and choose Nigeria. Nigeria will be put in down there. We can also create the drop down based on the data we have already created. So like this data that I've created, I can use it as a drop down. So maybe it is stored in a particular sheet, but can be stored in a place. Yeah, I decide to put it here for to make the lesson easy for us to follow. So I'm going to create a list based on this data. So highlight the range where I want the list here. I go to data validation. Then I'll change the criteria to list. But this time around, I'm not going to type it in the source. I'm going to look for the range. So I click on that button there. I choose the range, click on the source button again. And I click on OK. So once I do that, it means that I've created a list based on the data that I've provided. So this is how you can create a list based on an existing data. And I also realized that it's not setting the data validation. You can also set the alert for the input message. So for instance, if I click on this, I want to display a message to let me know that there's a validation there. So what I can do is that I go back to my data validation. Then here at the input message, I click on it. Here I can set title and message. Here I want to just add the message at the title. So I want to say that I want to tell the user to enter numbers between 1 and 10. So this message will show to the user once the cell is active. So once an active cell with the data, see when I click on it, it's showing the message before even I key in. So I also want to so you realize that when you enter a wrong data, it gives you an error message, and this is not customized. So you can use the data validation to customize it so that the user will understand why the error is like that. So I'll highlight where I want the validation to apply again, go to data validation. This time I'm going to error alert. Then in the error alert, I give a message. So the message could be maybe you have entered the wrong value and click on what? OK. So once you click on OK, you just type the wrong data. You customize the message to show the message on through. So you have entered the wrong one. And see the icon I'm seeing. I'm seeing the stop sign. Okay, it's just the star. Now you can change the star to anything, and based on what you change, the information will also be changing. So you realize that here the style I'm using is the stop sign. So watch carefully. Once you choose the star, when you violate it, these are the things you are seeing. Retry, cancel, and let's try another star. So click down the style dialog, choose warning. So you see this one. Let's see what the one will do for us. So you type the wrong data again. This time I'll give you this as a warning, but you see the buttons has changed. It says continue, yes, no, cancel, help. So once I click on yes, it will assume I want to still serve that value. So you realize that even though I've entered 12, it's invalid. But because I chose warning star, it just give me warning. It doesn't mean to not me to enter that. You got it. So let's see the other one as well. So the star, let's change it to info. So info will just give you information. So I type 13, which violates the rule. So info also gives me OK, cancel, and help. Once I click on OK, it also accepts the validation method that I've used to show that whatever I've entered, it should go. Okay, so if you don't want to accept that rules or whatever I enter, even if it's wrong, it should be accepted. You have to make sure you maintain the star, you maintain it to stop. Once you choose stop, it will not allow you to input the data that is not right in there. So again, you realize that you finish applying the validation script. When you from this law, we've entered the validation that restricts us from entering a letter, a number beyond 10. But here I have 10.5, 12, and 13. So as you have a large data of records here, you want to quickly check and see which of the cells is violating the data validations you've entered. You go to the data tool under the data tab, data tools. You click on the arrow just beside the data validation icon. you see circle invalid data. So the circle invalid data will circle all the data in the validation that violates the rule. So for you to see, so if I want to just change it, and I want to change this, I can just go and change it to 10, and the circle will go away. So this is what you can do to check whether the data is violating the rule. Okay, so you don't want to see this circle. You just go back to the drop down beside data validation, click on it, and you choose what? Clear validation circle, and the circle will be deleted. Thank you so much for watching.